Hi out there. My name's Ross. I like long walks on the beach, talking well into the night, and watching anything that has Ryan Gosling in it. If you and your partner are looking for a very fun project to do this Valentine's Day, boy, do I have the project for you. Our project today is called the Magnetic Connection Bracelet. And all you're going to need for this project is 10 strands of red microcord, about 2 feet each. We'll also need 2 strands of white microcord, 2 feet each as well. 1 1-foot pink 550 paracord. To help with the bindings on the end of our bracelet, we'll need 2 1-foot white micro paracord. We have our metallic clasp for the end. We have our Kumihimo Disk, some tape, scissors, our lighter, and some super glue. So for our first step, we want to take our red and white 2 feet microcords, and we want to arrange them with 5 red, 1 white, 5 red, 1 white, and we want them to lay flat on our surface. Our next step is we're going to take the tape and we're going to tape all of them flat, just to help with the next step, which is going to be a little complicated. But once we get those all down flat, we can move on to the next step. For the next step, we're going to want to take our 550 paracord and we want to lay it on top of all of our microcord, and then we want to wrap the microcord around the 550. And this is where the tape comes in, as it does help to hold everything together. For the next step, we want to take one of our 1 foot of white microcord to use as our whipping along the edge of our bracelet. And the way that we do this, make a loop. You don't have to go halfway through the cord. You could just make it on one end. We're going to lay it flush on our bracelet. Going to take the longer end, going to go around. And we are just going to secure all of our microcord down. So it makes a nice whipping on the end of our bracelet. From here, we can cut off the 2 ends of the microcord. And we can burn both of those ends. Now that we have that set up, we can put it into our Kumihimo Disk. The way we do that is we just take the end that's all tied together, put it right down through the middle, and now it's time to set up our microcord along our disc. So here we have our microcord laid out on our Kumihimo Disk, and the way that I remember this is just pretty easy. So you lay down your first 2, then you skip 4 spaces, lay down the next 2, then you skip 3 spaces, lay down the next 2, skip 3 spaces, lay down the next 2, skip 4 spaces, lay down the next 2, skip 4 spaces, lay down the next 2, so that it all is laying pretty flat and even like it is right now. The only thing that you do have to take note of is whatever color you would like to make the spiral going around your bracelet, you want those on opposite ends of each other. Today we have our white, which is going to be our spiral, so you can see that one microcord is here, the other on the opposite side. It is now time to begin our weave, and the easiest way to begin is to just start with the arrows. So we're going to start going counterclockwise on our Kumihimo Disk. So let's start with the microcord between 17 and 18. We're going to take that one out, and we're going to move it over to the next 2 cords laying flat. So now we want 3 cords with 1. And we're going to keep up that pattern as we rotate around our disc. So for instance, on the next one, we're going to take the same microcord and move it up 1. Going to come to this one, take the bottom, move it up 1. And you're going to do this same pattern going around until you get to the one with 3. When it comes to the 3 cords together, take the middle cord, move it over as you would normally. Then we're going to take this back cord here, and we're just going to move it up 1. So as you can see, after 1 pass of our weave, the microcord is back in its initial setup. Now for the second part of the weave, we're going to do the exact same thing, only backwards. So we're going clockwise this time. So let's start with this microcord. Going to bring it over and lay it down next to the 2 microcords right next to it. And we're going to do this same pattern for every one of them around until we get back to the part that has 3. Once we get to the 3, again, we're going to take the middle cord, move it over as you would normally, then we're going to take the back cord, we're going to move it up just 1. So after 1 full pass of the weave, you can see that our microcord is back in the positions that they initially started in. Now we're going to continue this weave, again, going counterclockwise and then clockwise. I know that after a couple passes, that might get a little bit tricky to remember which direction you're going, so I found a nifty way to know which way to go. So for instance, we're going counterclockwise again, and if we look, we can see that this cord will overlap the one right next to it. That's how we know that we are on the correct step. So let's say we did it the opposite way. If we were going the wrong way, what would it look like? Well, as you can see, the 2 cords are together. They are both over top of that strand, and that's not what we want. We want the cord that we are working with to go over top of another cord. So then that way, when you're watching TV and doing this, you don't really have to pay attention to what direction you're going on the disc. So one other thing to note is you do want to be pulling on your core strand. I usually do it just from the taped part right here as you're doing this weave, or all of the weave will get jumbled up right in the middle here. So as you pull down, you'll notice that the weave will be coming out the back side of your disc. I'm going to continue on with the weave, and we'll come back when we're about halfway through. So we are about halfway through our weave right now, and we have just been doing the basic counterclockwise, clockwise weave that we did show you. And we are about halfway through that bracelet, and as I mentioned before, it will all start coming out the back as you do pull down and continue the weave. Right now we have about 4.5 inches. We're looking to get about 7 inches for the full bracelet, so we'll come back to the video when we're ready to show you how we're going to end it. So now that we have our bracelet the length that we would like it, it is time to start finishing this off. And the way that we're going to start is we're going to flip our Kumihimo Disk around, and we're going to work with the side that we originally started with. And this part is very easy. We're just going to trim away all of those micro cords right around our core strand. And then we do want to take our lighter and we want to burn these ends. Now we're going to do the exact same thing on this side, and the way that we're going to do that, we're going to grab our braid from the inside right at the very edge of it. And once we do give that a good grip, we can start undoing our microcord from our disc. So for our next step, we do want to take our second 1-foot microcord, and just like we did to the front end, we do want to make a whip on the back end as well. Once you do get done with both ends of the bracelet, I have snipped the core paracord just to make sure that everything is going to fit around the wrist that you would like to use it for, which that should be absolutely perfect. So for our final step, it is time to attach our magnetic clasps, and we're going to do that to the inner core of our 550 paracord on each end of our bracelet, and we're going to do this very simply by taking some super glue, putting it into our clasp, and then taking that and putting it around our paracord. Now we're going to sit it here for the next 5 minutes just to let it dry and make sure that that super glue is going to keep those clasps securely onto our paracord. Thank you so much for coming on a journey and connecting with us today. If there's anything you'd like to see in a future video, please let us know in the comments below, as it's the best way to reach us here at Paracord Planet. Have yourself a great rest of the day. We'll see you on the next video, and keep on loving.